Today we're going to talk about some of the challenges of refinancing a self-storage unit or buildings. First challenge would be the financials. Let's say, for instance, a lot of people, if you're building it and just getting started, you're not going to have great financials. A lender is looking at what is the cash flow. So if I've just built this self-storage building and I'm still trying to bring in more customers, I may only be at 30 or 40% occupancy. So obviously my financials are not going to be that great. So that's the first challenge. A lender is looking for cash flow. You don't have the cash flow yet because you're not at 80, 90% capacity. You're still at 40 or 50. That's the first challenge. There may be some ways around that. The second challenge would be the appraisal. Now, quite often appraisers, when they're appraising a self-storage building, you have a land component. What's the value of the land? And then you have also the improvement, the buildings. Appraisers will give you an evaluation of either the cost of the construction and the cost of the land, and they will put it together and say, okay, now that is the value as per the cost. But what would usually be larger is using an income approach. And usually from an owner's point of view, when you own this self-storage unit or units, you look at it as, well, it's really about cash flow. It's really about income. So, you really would be looking at more the income approach. I get this much income a year, or I will be getting this much income a year, so therefore it has this much value to you. The challenge is that lenders, they look more at what the cost value is. What's either a comparable value or what a cost value. They usually discount the income value, and the reason they do that on self-storage is because it may not be consistent. Today this might be your cash flow, but it may not be that tomorrow. So they feel they'd rather lend against, either the cost of the construction, cost of the land, or maybe a comparable approach. So that can be a challenge. A third challenge would be if you were trying to refinance a self-storage property and you want to maybe increase the amount that you have outstanding. So a couple of things. One, I've already talked about the challenges sometimes with the appraisal. So you need the appraiser to come up with a favorable valuation. And secondly, a lender, especially an A lender. Now, there's A lending, B lending, and also I have private lending. But an A lender would probably really look hard at your financials. And secondly, they would look hard at what is the use of funds. If you're sitting there with, let's say, a $400,000 mortgage and you want to increase it to $500,000 or $550,000, an A lender very much wants to know what are you doing with that money. So if you own the building in a corporation and you want to take that money out and go do something else with it, it makes it more difficult for an A lender to do that loan. They don't like to see money go out of, a project or a property. If you were using the money maybe to do some improvements in the property, keeping the money in the corporation, that's a different story. For B lenders and private lenders, most of the time, I would go to a private lender for something like that. They don't care so much about what you're doing with the money. They're more concerned with what is the value and how much are they lending against that. If you need more information, give me a call or send me an email. Your call is important to me, and I will call you back. I look forward to speaking with you. Take care.